What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Winging It podcast. I got with me Andre, the game idea guy.
How y'all doing?
All right, so before we get started today, we kind of had some bad news in the movie world. You guys know I do love my movies and stuff. So Chadwick Boseman did pass away. He had colon cancer. Nobody really knew except his close friends and family. So thought I'd do a little moment of silence before we get started and jumped into our regular chicanery. So please observe this moment of silence. Okay, so all right, start this bad boy off. Well, DC had their fandom uh event last week, and they did on top of showing like movie trailers for their upcoming slate of stuff. They actually showed a few game trailers, and actually they showed a one game about a 7 minute dev dive. So we're going to talk about the first two things on the list tonight is the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game trailer, which is basically a CG trailer. It's a teaser because that's not coming out till 2022. I have no problem with that because it's just basically saying, look, here's what we're doing. Get hyped for this. So, did you check out that trailer?
I saw glimpses of it. I didn't get to watch the full trail. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but from what I saw of it, I'm interested.
Yeah. So basically, you have the Suicide Squad, and the trailer opens out with like Brainiac attacking, and the Suicide Squad basically like they're not trying to do nothing. Like we're not we're not trying to do nothing. Like they were just like they were lying to Amanda Waller. They were saying they were like working. They were not. It it was hilarious. And then they decide to okay, come on, man, we got to go do the job. They go to town, and like the way the trailer was shot, it was like okay, this is actually pretty cool. Then you see Superman come into the picture, and King Shark like, look, Superman, he's just saved that helicopter pilot, and then you just see Superman disintegrate that dude, and all of them be like, oh fuck, because that's their target. It was hilarious. I loved it. I mean, like I said, the game is coming out till 2022. There was no reason to sit up here and pretend like they had gameplay to show you. I don't need to see that. I need to see gameplay next year because it's not coming out till 2022. So for just a first trailer, for a teaser trailer, just so you can get to know what they're doing, I thought it worked.
The idea, like the idea, is kind of like the Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe comics. That's what I was. That's the vibe I was getting. I was like, if the story stays at that level the whole way through, whatever type of game it is, I'm for
Yeah, I mean,
it.
I don't need anything remotely serious about this. I need it to be fun. I need it to be
Su-
fun.
it's a Suicide Squad. I mean, yeah, they're supposed to be basically a hit group under control because they got bombs in their head, but those characters always do some wild stuff in those comics. So
Yeah.
yeah, let them be as outrageous as possible.
Yeah, I want it to be fun, and I think it's interesting to for them to have to, because I can see the gameplay mechanics of having to deal with Superman when you know getting well there's no way you can beat him. So I like the idea of that because that just opens up gameplay possibilities to me, like having like a whole like I know people like from Resident Evil, y'all have the whole Nemesis and Mister X thing, have that, but with Superman it's like 10 times worse. You know, y'all complain about
It
Mister X. Have Superman on your behind.
it don't even matter where you go.
Yeah,
He can hear you. He can smell you.
he can
He
see
can see
you,
you.
and he's faster than you. Unless you got Flash on your side, he's faster than you.
Even then, it don't really make much difference.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those situations. I'm actually looking forward to how that's gonna play out. I really am. So that one, I'm like, okay, I gotta make a mental note to keep up with that one. Now, Gotham Knights, that game trailer they showed, I thought was fun, but the dev dive is where I really thought that this is gonna be like one of those games I got to pick up. Now, this is coming out next year. Um, and basically it's Jason Todd, Red Hood. We got Tim Drake, Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing all coming together because Bruce Wayne is dead.
Dead.
Notice I said
Oh,
dead.
they taking the idea from the
Death of the
part of
family.
the timeline. Yeah,
Yeah.
is either that or when he got time displaced.
Yeah, time displaced or something like that. But it's gonna be interesting to see because it's gonna have drop in, drop out co-op, which I think okay, that's cool. That'll work. But the other thing too that I find interesting about it is it's not really set in any kind of like it's not set in the Arkham universe. The Suicide Squad game is. So I find that interesting.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's weird, but I find it interesting. I'm like, okay, so this is just gonna be a standalone on its own, so you don't have to worry about
So
connecting back to anything, which you kind of
I
have
mean,
to do because you don't want to piss off the Batman fans thinking he's not gonna be
no,
in
but
anything else.
that's making me think though. Like, what universe are they drawing it from?
Just probably else, it's probably gonna be an Elseworlds tale. Probably be an
Yeah,
Elseworlds.
but did which one?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, and they don't have to tell you either because you could just say it's a contained
Yeah,
Bat family story.
somebody will
Um,
figure it out
Yeah,
anyway.
somebody will. They probably already have. But the first thing that they showed in the dev dive was Mr. Freeze. So I'm like, okay, Mr. Freeze. It looks like that part looked pretty interesting. They used Batgirl and Robin, I think. If I was to play, I would probably either play with Red Hood or Robin. I'm not really a fan of Nightwing. I know that's blasphemy to some people, but I just
That's because Nightwing is always the golden boy.
yeah, and I'm like, I never really cared for Dick Grayson like that. I mean, I never really did. So, um, and Barbara Gordon, I don't really care for either all that much, to be honest. I thought they were cooler characters than her. I hope I read a thing that gives me a little bit of hope because somebody asked them, "Is Damien going to be in it?" And I hope they do that at some point.
But if Damien was going to be in it, then Tim Drake would have to be Red Robin instead of
See,
Robin.
that's the thing. They showed a Red Robin costume in that dev
Uh,
dive. They showed a Red Robin costume, and
yeah, yeah, Damien may be in there.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's why the person asked them, and they didn't say anything. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
because
okay, all
I'm
right.
like, if you're gonna have Tim Drake as Robin, then
Yeah,
Damien.
there's
But
no
if
reason to
he's
put him in
Red
there.
Robin,
But if you got a Red Robin suit there,
yeah,
don't Easter egg us on that. Please don't. Don't Easter egg us on that one. Just, but that's just me. And now this leads into my third question because I will give where Marvel beats out DC is the live action films. I feel like they beat them out on that. But as far as like the animated stuff and the animated movies and the video games, DC by far surpasses whatever Marvel's doing. So
yeah.
my question: how the hell does DC? Is it because like DC just went on their lights, figured that part out first?
I would say that, yeah, because well, to be honest, Marvel had them in that arena for a while before, but DC has worked. I think DC has worked out better deals, and they probably do better quality check on the stuff
Yeah.
than what Marvel's teams have been doing. If I was running Marvel, half these games that have been out recently would not have come out outside of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yeah, that's true. I
I
mean,
would not have let the other stuff come out.
I can't really say I blame you on that because yeah, some of the X Men Destiny really. Yeah, so
Like, and that and well, Spider Man is still run by Sony, but I would
yeah,
have that would have come out under me. But anything else, I'd be like, nah, we gonna hold this back a little bit.
yeah. So plus
Fine.
it does help that WB does have their own dedicated game studio as well. So you can kind of like, okay, um, we can make sure we have more time to quality check stuff, even if it's coming from Rocksteady or whatever. We have time to quality test it. We can send a group of people over there to quality
Yep.
test it if we need to. They don't have to like put it in the hands of everybody else. They can just like, okay, let's quality test this ourselves. So I mean, I I will say this though, because we was talking about this at work. That Gotham Knights trailer got me more hyped than that Marvel Avengers does. I'm facts, facts. I mean, and I played the
Out
beta.
the game.
Yeah, I played the beta for Marvel's Avengers, and I like I said in my Let's Talk, I'm like, dude, I never got the matchmaking never worked in it, and while it could be fun at times, I just had too many. It just nothing stood out. Like the Gotham Knights trailer and the dev dive stuff stood out to me. Like that had me legitimately like, okay, this is interesting. Avengers didn't do that. It just nothing grabbed me. It just didn't do that. So I mean,
I just think is that they got people who work. They need teams that are when it comes down to like comic book license. They need teams that are passionate project. I'll be honest. I don't think the teams behind the stuff for the Avengers game passionate about. It. I think they're just doing it because it's a job.
well, it's Crystal Dynamics. I mean,
Yeah, so like I honestly don't feel like they're passionate about it. Now, if you gave them something that was from their neck of the woods, they'd probably be all for it.
yeah,
But
it's kind of
it's
like they
not.
gave them the license and like, okay, we got to do it
Yeah, like
type
but if you
situation.
gave them something like Lord of the Rings, they probably do amazing with it.
Yeah, that, yeah, you might have a point there. You might have a point there. So time will tell because that brings us to another thing that Avengers doing. I just found out today actually that they're talking about doing a battle pass for Avengers. For I'm like, y'all are really trying to screw this up, aren't you, Square? Y'all are really trying to screw this up. I'm
They
like,
really gonna make people
y'all
mad.
going out of y'all way to screw this up. So I'm glad I said I wasn't gonna buy this at launch because I would be highly upset. Because it's the game is not a free to play game. So why are you introducing a battle pass?
When right now the game is still on iffy ground, that's not the best.
Yeah. So I mean,
It's not like you got something like Smash where people are anticipating and they know for a fact this game when it drops is going to be a good game. It's questionable. You don't want to do that with a questionable game, even if you know it's a popular franchise.
yeah, because
It's
that's
not a
just
good idea.
it won't bode well at all. So that's being that. All right, so let's talk. Let's go and get this on out the way. The mini direct. Um,
It was
I,
there.
okay, look,
There's nothing wrong with it.
there's
It just
nothing wrong with
impressed
it.
everybody.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with it, and don't misconstrue what I'm about to say. There's nothing wrong with it. Anytime we get like some game day releases and stuff like that about games, it's all good. You know,
Yeah.
they just hit genres that I just didn't care for. The only game I actually really liked out of that was that Creed game because it reminded me of
Uh,
Ready to Rumble boxing.
yeah, it was Creed, and then there was in which the person talking about it, the dude talking about it, said the Creed and Rocky universes are like they're the same universe.
Yeah, that's how you know the person didn't know what they were talking about.
Oh, like,
Like,
dude, like
should I watch the
they
movies?
should they should have made him go back and reread that line and be like, hold on, cut this.
Yeah, because yeah,
Not the Creed and Rocky universe, the Creed
like
Rocky or the Rocky Creed universe. Make it one thing, not two
like
separate pieces.
you can't say it's
Same
two
thing.
separate things when the second Creed movie directly has Drago in it.
And Rocky Balboa is
Is
Creed's
trainer,
trainer.
but
That was an interesting game, and then that one that's by the is it the Indian development team? Can't remember the name of it.
Raji.
Yeah, that one looked interesting too. Those are the two most interesting games in there.
Yeah. But
Everything else was like,
I
it's
mean,
nice to have. Good that y'all getting more stuff, but that's
at
it.
least we're getting Kingdom Hearts, just not the Kingdom Hearts we flipping want.
Oh, you mean the
Rhythm game.
the rhythmic musical game that is $60?
Square Enix. I just want to talk to y'all.
They'd have been better
Listen,
off Just doing the Kingdom Hearts collection and putting it on the Switch.
Thank you, because I'm like, dude,
$60. Everybody be like, okay, cool. I get Kingdom Hearts. I can take it on the go with me. I can play it wherever I want. I can complete it at my own pace. $60. No one would have complained.
here's the problem
Okay.
that I have. If you could have put Dream Drop Distance Switch version, and I wouldn't have got mad. You could have put 358 by 2 Switch version. I wouldn't have got mad. You have the nerve to put a rhythm game on there. And on top of that, in the rhythm game, put the cutscenes from the real game in the rhythm game and say that's how you have to unlock it. And okay. All right. Yeah, dog. Nah, that's gonna be a big fat no for me. First of all, Kingdom Hearts 3 ain't that good. So you done pissed me off with that because I spent money on that and it ain't that good. Like 2 is way better. So yeah, so y'all the the nerve is all I got. The nerve.
The
The
game
nerve.
that game that they showed off looks like it's like a 20 max $30 game.
Yeah, and you gonna sell it for 60. In the words of Star Lord. so yeah, so I mean, yeah, miss me with that. But like I said, it's the direct. I mean, it was a mini direct. Nobody knew about it. I look
It
on
just
my
dropped
Twitter.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, I look on my Twitter feed. I look on my YouTube notification, and bam, there's a partner direct. I'm like, huh? So
Like, when did it? Like, I looked at it. I saw it drop. I think when I found it, it hit dropped 15 minutes ago. I was like, 15 minutes? I did say
yeah,
that 15 minutes ago.
yeah, and I'm like, okay, why did y'all? Okay, so the question is, are we even getting a full direct? Because now people say, well, they do one in September. I'm like, y'all can't go by that. Y'all
Nah.
can't go by that. If they gonna do one, they'll do it when they do it. That's where I'm at this point. They're gonna do it when they do it. Either, just be patient. They'll do it when they do it. When they
I
get
think
ready,
that I think they saving up for a big release to do a full major direct.
yeah. I mean, and hopefully it's a good 45 minute direct because we're kind of gonna need one because really. I would have thought they would have had the dates out for like Bravely Default since that's supposed to come this year because I thought it was unless they had to push it back due to the current situation, which they may have. We don't
They
know.
might.
Yeah, we have no idea.
I'm still wondering how they're going to do the rest of that series as far as naming goes. Because
I
you
have
have
no
Bravely
idea.
Default, Bravely Second, then Bravely Default 2. You can't. Are they going to do a Bravely Second 2 or Bravely Third?
At this point, I just keep it with the Bravely. Okay, we doing Bravely two, Bravely Default 2. Just do Bravely Default 3. Just don't do that
Or they,
Bravely
or they,
second.
or their
Just
next game going to be Default Second.
yeah, Default second. Default
Like,
second Alpha Pi.
I
Like,
just whoever came up with this naming convention
yeah, don't do that no
did a
more.
bad job.
Yeah,
Bad
you
job.
did a horrible job actually. All right,
Bad job.
so yeah, so now that we got the mini direct out the way and we pretty much didn't trash it because I know a lot of people have been trashing it. I just at this point I'm not down with the
It
trashing.
wasn't bad.
Yeah, it
It's
just wasn't for me. There wasn't nothing in there that enticed me, so I couldn't get like hype about it. So we're back on this Switch Pro stuff, and I think the reason why is because people misread that release. Um, Basically, they're talking about an upgrade, which basically means like better screen resolution, probably change out the chipsets, hopefully better battery. That does not mean Switch Pro. That just means an updated, revised version of the Switch. I mean, which is what I would expect anyway, because parts get cheaper. You know, better batteries come out. You know, you can actually you actually do a decent upgrade and actually update your system well, and you won't have to up the price for your consumer, basically, with a revised Switch. So me personally, I'm like, okay, I can dig that. I don't know why every time there's a investor meeting that says that we have it's obviously means Switch Pro with 8K resolution and all that. I'm like, dude, nobody ever said that. So please stop with the 4K this and that. Until Nintendo says it, I wouldn't even put any stock in anybody saying that they have sources that say that it's going to be. I wouldn't even put any stock in that until Nintendo says it. So,
Everybody's on that rumor mill.
your thoughts?
My thoughts is unless they say something, I'm not going to get hyped about something that they haven't said they're going to do.
Yeah,
Because ever since this thing has come out, within like the first month or so, we've been hearing rumors about a Switch Pro,
yeah, which made no
and
sense.
and everything that they have done has been changes to make the machine more efficient.
Yeah, so
And
that's what I expect.
people have had with it so far.
Yeah, that's what I expect. If they do drop something else, it's going to be a revised version that will take care of some of the issues that the previous versions have.
Yeah, but that's what I'm going to assume until they actually say they're doing a newer hardware model for this platform.
Which I don't think is going to come out till at least after 2023, if we're being honest, because they said that they were supporting this until 2023. So that's
Yeah,
their game plan anyway. So I'm like, if that's your game plan, then yeah, why would you even? No, I wouldn't even sweat. I wouldn't even sweat that. So, but that's where I stand on it. Y'all heard our, thoughts on that whole situation. I think it's hilariously funny at this point, but I just think it's funny at this point. But I did notice something that was a little bit odd and a little bit strange. One of the things that Microsoft has been touting, and I know Sony kind of weighed in a little bit, but then they haven't said nothing recently about it. But the free next gen upgrade. So if you buy something on the PS4 that's available on PS5, you buy something on Xbox One that'll be available on Xbox Series X, they'll have a free upgrade um, when you get the new system. Well, now a number of games are saying they're not doing that, and Call of Duty is rumored to be among that number. My question to you is that a wise strategy? I don't think it is. I think it's a bad
no,
idea. I think it's a really bad idea,
it is.
especially especially with the global situation. It's a stupid idea. So
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It's a
yeah,
bad idea because on top of that, not everybody's going to be willing to rebuy these games without a significant change to them.
yeah,
They're not going to be willing to rebuy it because it just looks prettier. I mean, there will be people that will,
yeah.
but that
But that
number
number's
is very
small.
limited.
Yeah, that number's small. Because
There's a
I,
very limited.
if you are one of those people who are in a household where your parents are like, "I already bought you that game. I ain't buying you another one."
Or you have a parent who is a gamer
Yeah.
and they were like, "Don't we already have this game?
Uh
We
huh.
got this game for this system. Why am I getting it for this one?"
Yeah, they're not doing that. They're not doing it. I mean, I, back at I would say if you would ask me this question last year, I would have been like, you know what, I can understand it a little bit, but now with the situation that we face now as a globe, there's no way in the world I would ask people to double dip something,
Mm.
especially if I've already said, hey, you know what, we're going to allow for this to happen, like free upgrades for this to happen. Now, you could say as an incentive to try to get people to go digital, like, okay, for our digital customers, if you buy it digitally, you'll have a free upgrade. Now, if you buy physical, we can't, because that way
Yeah,
we can't prove that you bought it, or we can't prove that it's your copy. So, but digitally, we can.
which is technically BS because if they
Yeah,
put the disc in the system,
it's BS. But like I said, I
it's
that,
more understandable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's BS, but I'm like that way it'll be a little bit more easier to digest, I guess you could say. And you could that way you could say because a lot of these companies want people to buy digital because they don't want to do they don't make any money off the used game market. So
No.
they like look, if you want to get a free upgrade, you got to buy the game digital because that's the only way we can prove that you didn't steal it or you didn't get it through illicit means that we know it's yours because somebody had to buy it and put it on your system, download it
Yep.
to your system. So that's what I'm like, yeah, it's BS, but that's from a business standpoint. You're like, okay, that's the only thing that make kind of sort of makes sense.
Well, it makes sense because you say it's tied to that person's account.
Yeah,
The disc itself is not. It's
it's
not
not.
necessarily tied to their account. Like you could borrow someone else's game and play it,
Yeah,
which again,
which
I get.
which does happen. So yeah, and I can understand that, but to say that we're not going to do that at all, I think that's a bad move.
Mm,
I just think that's a real bad move. It's not a wise strategy, especially now. Especially after what CD Project Red said like last year when they were like, "Look, we're not charging people to upgrade our game. We don't think that should ever be the case." And like, yeah, it should have never been the case.
no, it
It
shouldn't.
should have never been the case. But I kind of understand from a business standpoint because it's kind of hard to prove that you know, it's kind of hard to prove that. So I mean, hell, if you go to GameStop now and try to trade the game in, they ask you for your license and all that, try to prove that, you
Yep.
ain't that it's your copy that you bought. So it's really weird. So I mean, hey, that's where we're at. So the next topic I got for us is the summer of games thing that they try to do this year. Uh, did it work for the gaming industry, or do we still need the game conferences like Tokyo Game Show, Gamescom, E3, Paris Games? Do we still PAX? Do we still need game conferences, or did the summer of games work? The summer of games did not work for me.
Nah.
It was a nice idea. It was a really nice idea, but I think the problem was there wasn't a coordinated anything. So
Nah,
you're
there was.
basically still just doing the trailer dropping and everything because like the main issue was people are not in the same building; they're working from home. So it's still hard to try to get that information out. So I'm like, we're still in the same boat.
It's still very disorganized. That's the
Yeah,
major problem. And yes, like if there was no Gamescom, all this stuff that's coming out now would be so sporadic, and people would not really know what's going on or what to talk about. So yeah, we kind of do still need the games conferences and the different meetups and stuff like that. Maybe if not, if we can't do them physically, we can still do them digitally. They just have to adjust how they do them. They can't just not have like some the bigger events. Like yeah, sure, some of them are becoming less and less important because there are other events around, but just the random sporadic information drops are not going to get as much attention as an organized concussive effort. Like it's just like saying you it's like taking a drop of water hitting the pond versus dumping out a bucket. One's going to get more attention, and that's really it.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I just um I think like the summer games thing that Jeff Keighley did come up with. I think it was a nice idea.
It's a good concept, but the
Yeah,
execution wasn't so great.
yeah, and I understand why he wanted to do it. I give Jeff Keighley a lot of flack, mostly because it's deserved. But um, I I do respect the fact that he does do stuff for gaming. He does. I will give him that. I mean, he put his own money up to give us a game awards.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
I
give
got to
him.
give him
He's
props for that. You
out of
know,
everybody that's been in the industry, as far as like the media is concerned, he
yeah,
is one of the hardest working individuals. I'll
yeah.
give him that much.
I mean, he's still,
Still a pain in the butt, but
yeah, and he's
he
he's
does
still
he does
getting his
try.
emotions too much.
I'll give him the fact that he at least puts the effort in and at least tries.
Yeah, he at least tries. I mean, so I got to give him that, and I just think that this really was extraordinary circumstances. So I think like going forward, if they want to do like a summer of games, I think they should still do it. I really think they should still do it, even with E3 and Gamescom and all that. But it needs to be like a more concentrated effort, and probably have it like a more Treehouse Live type thing, where
Yeah,
we'll show the game but have the developers there to talk about it. I think that will work better than just having like, you know, we're gonna drop these 4 or 5 trailers and have like a couple of people talk about this one thing, or just have just a trailer and just, oh, it's a world premiere type thing, because it was really all over the place. Like they did have a
yeah.
couple of like dev dive things that happened earlier this summer, but like everybody wasn't doing that. So I
And on
mean,
top of that, a lot of it went under the radar.
yeah.
But is a specific timeline for it. So, like, instead of making it take place over the whole summer,
Mm,
do it in like a concentrated 2 week time frame where you'll have dev dives, trailers, and actual live gameplay footage of stuff going up, and make it a consistent 2 week thing. It
yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to have a location. It just has to be an event that people can be drawn to, and drop it like in the middle of July.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
I see what you're saying. Basically, make it a digital event. Just make it
yeah,
a
a
digital event.
large a large scale digital event where a lot of companies can just like say have a couple days, like each company that decides that they want to do something outside of
Mm,
indies can have a specific day to have their stuff dropped, and it'll just have a schedule lined up. There you
mm,
can have one for EA, one for Square Enix, one for Ubisoft, one for Sony's development teams, one for
mm.
Microsoft, one for Nintendo, and like other major companies like there's too many major companies out, and I'm sitting here drawing a blank for no reason. But like Rockstar and 2K, like there's
Yeah.
so many companies. Like you can take the time, work out with them, dedicate 2 weeks, 2 weeks straight, 14 days. It shouldn't be that difficult to get set up.
Yeah.
It
And
really shouldn't.
give everybody like, okay, we're gonna give you a 30-minute time slot for this game, for this game, for this game. Like I said, set it up like Treehouse Live. We give you 30 minutes for this game, 30 minutes for this game, 30 minutes for this game. You know, y'all sit here, y'all give y'all look, then we move to the next one. We'll move on to the next one. We'll this hour we'll move on to the next one. I mean, I'll give you that, because like I said, that this one, it wasn't, there wasn't any kind of efficient efficiency to it. So basically, it, you'd see one week, oh, be ready for games, summer of games, Tuesday, and I'm like, okay. Next week, not hear nothing for 2 weeks. The next week, hey, look out for summer of games. And I'm like, okay, like you need to have. If you, I think it would have been better if he, like you said, they would have just worked together and been like, okay, look, this is how we're gonna do this, and going forward, they should still do it, because we really don't have something in the middle of the summer. Usually we have E3 in June. Gamescom is usually in uh,
August
August or September, depending. It depends. Tokyo Game Show
and
is
July
usually,
it's empty.
yeah. Tokyo Game Show is usually September or October, depending on when Jump Fest is. So you can actually put it in July and just be like, okay, look, for a week in July, this is what we're gonna do. Like, if you don't want to do 2 weeks, here's a week. Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I said, there's too many major companies out there for gaming for them to not be able to pull this off.
yeah, my thoughts exactly. I mean, at some point we gotta be able to try and do a little bit better, in my opinion. I think. But okay, last thing for this week, and Gamescom 2020. Have you seen anything you liked?
Um, I, funny you should ask, because there was one thing I especially liked,
Mm-hmm.
and that was Star Wars Squadrons. Even though I really wish that they would have kept the name Rogue Squadron, it still would have fit. But hey, they took the Rogue off and added an S to the end. But that idea, the way that game was described, the way they and the way they set it up. You can't play it. You can't do multiplayer until you've played with all of the ships. I love that idea that you make the player have to learn how to play each and every ship.
Instead of trying
Instead
to
of
jump in.
yeah, that way they have a grasp of what they're doing and they know what fits their playstyle and their preference. But their online mode sounds exactly like an idea that I had for Star Fox Zero years ago when I talked about it for the Wii U and said this is how a multiplayer should work for that game. And I was like, that I like. Wish I could say that they stole it from me, but I can't.
Yeah, you can. Okay, you can't, but I can. I
I
can. Y'all stole that, didn't you? You stole it, didn't you? Didn't you? Admit it. Admit it. So yeah,
but
there
it
you go.
was I liked Squadrons. This is that game that looks like freaking. I thought it was a Dragalia Lost trailer when I first saw it. I was like, Nintendo's turned Dragalia Lost into an actual console game, and it was
Genshin Impact.
yeah. I was like,
Mhm.
that's literally the same plot line as Dragalia Lost. Dude and his sister, and the characters look almost identical. I'm like,
Yeah, because that's the
I'm
game
just let
that
that one go.
the people got mad at last year because they thought it was a Breath of the Wild clone, and I'm like, after hearing
No,
about the game, I'm like, the only thing that they got in common with Breath of the Wild is this cell shading.
yeah,
That's it.
similar art style.
Yeah, that's it.
I
There's
don't know
nothing
why
else
anybody thought
because
that that was the same.
I because that's one of the games that I was gonna bring up for mine, and I did not know that this game is a free to play game. I'm like, I'm not doing this because it's not a. I, I'm
It,
interested. I'm interested at the fact that it's an RPG. I'm mad at the fact that it's. I like my RPGs to have a definitive. That's why I don't play like stuff like Final Fantasy 14. I
yeah,
I need an ending. I'm not just going to play forever. I need an
it,
ending. I need an end game.
that is a problem with the game. It does look interesting
It
though.
looks
It,
interesting, but I'm like, I'm not doing this. Now, the game is coming to Sony and Nintendo. I don't understand how Nintendo gonna do this, but okay.
that's what I was when I was looking. I was like, Nintendo's turning Dragalia Lost into a full game. I was like, okay, cool. Sounds like a good idea. Then I read that. I was like, oh, that's not Dragalia Lost.
Nope. Genshin
Can't be.
Impact.
Story is the same. Main characters look identical. They got a little sprightly backup character. I'm like, okay.
All right.
There was a couple others, but I can't really remember the names of very many of them. So I'm just like, I'll leave it with those two. Those are the ones that stood out the most to me.
Well, okay, because and the thing is, Gamescom is still going on. I think it ends tomorrow. We're recording this on Saturday, by the way, so just so you
Yeah,
know.
it
But
does end tomorrow.
I think it ends
Tomorrow.
Sunday. So the couple that I like, Yeast Nine, Nostrum Knox got a new trailer and a release date uh, for the PS4.
Yeah, it looks good. It does.
Um, I may have to double dip this just because I'm a fan of the Yeast series, and I don't. They don't have a release date for the PC and the Switch. That they just say summer. PS4 is February. I may just wind up double dipping. I'm not gonna lie. Just when I get it on Switch, probably just give the PS4 version to my niece or something. Um, Genshin Impact. I was looking at that until I found out it was free to play, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Nah, the devil is a lie. So, Scarlet Nexus, though, we got a Powers trailer.
that was it. That was it.
Um, and they did confirm it is on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. I thought they tried to make it seem like it was PS5 only. I'm like, okay, y'all need to stop doing that. So I might pick this up on PS4. Um,
Yeah, they really gotta stop doing that because people
yeah,
be thinking the game is exclusive to one platform. Then come to
and
find
it's
out it's
not.
on everything. It's on several others. I'm like,
Yeah, they really need to stop doing that. Chris Tales. Now they have the demo up on in the PlayStation Store as well as Nintendo eShop. But playing through the demo, I like the game. I like a good turn based RPG. The only thing I don't like is how they do the time thing, and you can't turn it off. It's like on, and it's really messing with my head a little bit. But other than that, at least if you can turn it off, I hadn't got to the part where I can do that yet. So bear with me. I'm still going through that one, through the demo on that one. But it looks interesting. I like the art style. I love good art, so that's me on that. Other than that, I think those are the only ones that really like
oh,
that I've seen so far that I like.
there's one more for me. There's one more for me, and that's chorus. I complete. See, I was trying to remember the name. Is chorus.
Of course, okay.
I had to think music for a minute. I was like music, but it's chorus because that's the space shooter.
Ah,
The
okay.
space shooter. I was like, yeah, I'm interested in that. It looks good. I wouldn't have named it chorus, but I don't know the story yet, so see why it's named what it's named.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but those are the ones that I've seen that I think is going to be worth picking up in my opinion. Leave a comment. Let us know what you guys looked at and seen from Gamescom. I know IGN is doing their full breakdown and all that stuff, so you could probably catch stuff on their YouTube channel. I know I think another one is doing it too. I think GameSpot's doing it too. So
And this in this if GameSpot's doing it at this point, I think I would stick with IGN.
good point. Good point. But yeah, leave us a comment. Let us know. Did you see anything that you're thinking about picking up from Gamescom? Anything that caught your eye, or anything like that? Leave us a comment. Let us know. That's gonna do it. I know it's a little bit short this week. We kind of got through stuff a little bit quicker than I thought we would, but hey, we got through it. Um, so I will say this: I'm gonna have some gameplay up of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm gonna have some Black Panther gameplay up a little bit later. Um, so I don't. Yeah, I'll just have that up. That's gonna be for this week's gameplay. I'll probably have some gameplay up, some more of Raji up as well. Check out the gameplay of the gaming channel for that. I did put a Let's Talk up for the Avengers beta. I plan on having a Let's Talk next week for Raji as well as Battletoads. Working my way through Battletoads. So
Yeah, I got some opinions about that.
you got opinions, man. I got opinions. So you, I
Well, hey,
digress. I digress. I digress. I'm not going. I said I'm not going to be negative. I'm trying to be more positive than
try
negative.
to be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. Because they didn't have to do this, so I'm gonna try to be nice. But yeah, I think that's about it. Like I said, next week we're gonna be off because I'm gonna be out of town. So what I may do is just put some gameplay up or something just for the episode for next week. So just so you guys have some content up. Um, but yeah, I will be off next week. We'll see y'all the week after. Um, Andre, anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
Well, on my channel, I did post finally after a long time posted a beta testers corner discussion for another indie game that I know is got a Kickstarter. It's an indie mobile shoot 'em up called Star Space. You can download it on Android now. That's the demo of it. It's on the Kickstarter. On my channel, the Kickstarter link is in the description for anybody that might be interested. I like the game from what I've played of it because the little companion character has this wild, weird dialogue that's interesting, and on top of that, choices that you make in the game affect certain outcomes. But since this is a demo, you don't get the full experience. But it's pretty damn good from what I remember playing of it, and I was rusty when I was playing it for my recording for the video. But outside of that, I'm just working on my normal videos and posting more stuff that I just had sitting around on my computer
Mm.
finally. So it'd be checking that out. And I skipped this week for the pitch for Switch, but this one that's coming, I'll be talking about a Nintendo fighting game based on their weapons series.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Cool. With that being said, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for supporting us. Don't forget we are on Spotify and other audio streaming platforms. Just so you know, you can check us out on Anchor. I try to make sure I get the audio version up at least by Monday of that week, so you can check us out there as well. Uh, as always, Wakanda forever, and peace out, peeps.
Everybody.